Joe Rogan has some advice for his listeners to stop taking his advice. During a comedy set in Austin on Tuesday, he told his audience, quote, "If you want my advice, don't take my advice." Hey, look, that's pretty simple. That's probably the best piece of advice Joe Rogan has given as of late. Wonderful. Now, he went on to say, and he addressed the backlash about his dangerous COVID-19 takes, which were full of, again, falsehoods. He said this, quote, "I talk shit for a living. That's why this is so baffling to me. If you're taking vaccine advice from me, is that really my fault? What dumb shit were you about to do when my stupid idea sounded better?" That's a good question. You know that dude who made people eat animal dicks on TV? How does he feel about medicine? Referencing himself. Hey man, that's literally the point that I've been trying to make for months. And what did that do? Well, it fell on deaf ears, of course. Rogan stands very, very angry with me. Hey man, you're wrong. See, he talks to the real people. He's not part of the mainstream, man. No, he's telling you the truth, man. He's pushing back against the establishment. I trust him. I don't trust fake news, CNN, and your vaccine. Well, do you realize that he just called you stupid for listening to him? And look, I'm inclined to agree. Yes, if you're listening to him for medical advice, you might not be the smartest person. What credentials does Joe Rogan bring to medicine? None. He's about as credentials as I am. But I'm not telling you to listen to me. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me in my medical advice. No, go listen to the doctors. Listen to the scientific community. Over 99% of doctors that say, please get a COVID vaccine. Get vaccinated. Listen to them. Don't listen to us. We don't have the credentials. Joe Rogan, again, for his advice, look, if you want advice on lifting techniques or MMA shit, well then, great. He's your guy. Joe Rogan knows a lot about that. He's a very knowledgeable source, honestly. But look, the whole point of his show, and this is what's important. The whole point of his show is to sit around, smoke weed, do DMT, and talk bullshit with his friends. There's nothing wrong with that, in theory. But along the way, well, it stopped just being that, because his circle of friends, well, involved, I don't know, people like Alex Jones, who are dangerous grifters and conspiracy theorists. And then you have Jordan Peterson, you have Ben Shapiro, you have some very political figures that are giving some very political and oftentimes dangerous takes that are counterfactual. And oftentimes, because of the nature of Joe Rogan's show, and look, he's a friendly guy, right? Unless you're a trans person. Very friendly person to talk to. Very friendly interview, very relaxed. Well, in that case, he's not going to get any pushback. And so, yeah, a lot of times you'll get no pushback, and oftentimes agreement with some insane things. Now, one of the things that I want to show you is some of the insane things from one guest that he had on, which again, Joe, understand before I show you this, Joe Rogan does not vet his guests. Doesn't really do a whole lot of research into them. Okay? And so that's how you end up with, guests like this.
Whole debate about the MAOA gene, which is like this gene that black Africans have, it's like a proclivity to violence that they have.
MAOA gene.
Yeah. I recommend people Google it and do their own research. It's like a big debate about whether or not, but basically like what it is it's, if you think about like, kind of white European, Asian ancestors, as we kind of moved out of Africa, like aggression and violence was kind of less necessary because we were like farmers and stuff.
But right? God, is that really true?
No, it's not true. That's not true at all. There's no black violence gene. Wow. No. What that is, there's not a debate about that. That's white nationalist, white supremacist talking points. Oh, it was because we were all farmers. Oh, you mean none of the violence that happened in Europe in the Middle Ages? Any of that? Any of the wars, the imperialism? Did you just forget that any of that happened? Chuck Johnson? No, again, Chuck Johnson not only is a white supremacist, but he's also a Holocaust denier. In that same episode, they went through and they both would make fun of SJWs, social justice warriors, right? This was 2015. Male feminists and beta males.
Beta male.
So they would make fun of that. And again, Joe Rogan has said lots and lots of transphobic things. And so there's some serious issues. And so the people that he brings on his show to have these relaxed conversations with and just, hey, I'm just asking questions, right? And I'm asking them questions just it's because they're not part of the mainstream, man. And, we're getting a different perspective, man. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to racism and the kind of stuff that Chuck Johnson was talking about, that actually was very mainstream. So mainstream that, of course, you had slavery that dominated this hemisphere for quite some time. Black chattel slavery. Very, very mainstream. There are people still alive today that are experiencing the effects of Jim Crow. Where black people had different water fountains than white people. Wasn't that long ago that was mainstream? Now it's not. Society changes. And you know what? That's a good thing, and you have to adapt to that change. Joe Rogan's been, on a lot of issues, or some issues at least, kind of slow to change. Now, look, his apology, I think, was fine. I think that shows like, hey, wow, yeah, I do apologize for that. And if you come in and you self-correct later on, that's great. I'm one of those people who likes it when people change for the better. When they realize that they've done something wrong and they go and correct it in the future. Now, the question is open on Joe Rogan. I like the apology, but you have to change going forward and start to do better. And for those who are asking, like, well, why does he have that responsibility? Well, with great power comes great responsibility. 11 million people listen to him. He is a large voice. He has a gigantic platform. And so he doesn't have the luxury of just saying, oh, why do you listen to me? I'm kind of an idiot. I'm just bullshitting. I'm an internet guy. Whoa. Well, that's not going to fly anymore with such a gigantic platform. Like it or not, people will take you seriously for the things that you say when you have that platform. And so I don't know how somebody doesn't realize that once you get to a certain size, you have to kind of watch what you say. And yes, is it annoying? Is it something that people don't want? I can understand why. But when you get into the public spotlight and you become a public figure and you start to have lots of people that listen and care about the opinions that you say and actually take stock in the things that you say and the people you platform, I'm sorry, it does end up becoming a responsibility. And so I'm sorry, Joe, if you didn't want that responsibility, there's nothing really I can do for you. Okay? And again, so many people in his position might be saying, look, I didn't ask for this. Why should I have to do this? Again, you have people that trust you have people that listen to you. There's so little trust in institutions. And of course, there's valid reasons why, right? I would like to fix those institutions so that people like Joe Rogan can go and bullshit on his own and not have to worry about getting people killed from, not vaccinating and taking, human dewormer, which doesn't work on COVID-19. I would like for people to trust our institutions so that Joe Rogan can go back to being an entertainer without that responsibility. But unfortunately, we don't have that. We don't have that situation. We have a celebrity-focused culture, which really puts more stock in people like celebrities, like Joe Rogan, in the things that they say, than actual institutions. And so, I'm sorry. At this point, maybe, just maybe, you should actually take this advice from Joe Rogan. And I'm actually encouraging you, take the advice and stop turning to him or any other cable pundit or independent pundit or anything like that. Stop turning to us for medical advice and turn to your doctor.